everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Quick look here again at Brett. I got this request from one of our community members here in our Discord. Thank you very much for the request. Lamenta, you are right. Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely some meme coins that need to be covered. So we'll go ahead and try to focus on some of that. I might check out Turbo, Rats, and a handful of other ones too. Just some things that got on our radar here. So let's talk a bit about this here. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel, just hit the like button, comment below. Absolutely appreciate that. Helps get this in front of more people. What we want to look at, though, generally speaking, on the bigger time frame is some macro moves. Now, there's not a lot of macro here, okay? So we're mostly going to focus on the 4-hour time frame and lower, but we are going to touch on the daily time frame just to give you a quick perspective on what we like to look for. Now, it's a little premature, a little early, but we're getting close to that 20-day SMA. And what we want to look at, too, is this trend line and kind of just make sure we still pay attention to that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this pulled out correctly. And again, when you draw out trend lines, folks, it's not an exact science, but you can use candle wicks or candle bodies. It's up to you. It's mostly preference, but you'll notice that most of the time these ascending trend lines run concurrent with moving averages. Okay, so that's something we're going to pay attention to here. And with our local high here at about 19.5, round number 20 cents, we're going to make sure we understand that as well. So again, if you are new to the channel, I like to kind of just touch on these things. They're not again set in stone, but they give us a good momentum, good direction. With us being above the 50-day SMA, that's a positive sign. However, we're testing the 20-day SMA right now. That kind of tells us that we may or may not be shifting momentum. Now, we've already ABC'd out of our Elliott wave. There's a decent chance we hit our local bottom, and we should be able to continue further from here. The reason I say that is because we have 4 aggressive candle wicks here at roughly about 12.5 on the daily. When we look at that and we see that, and then of course concurrent, we can see this guy here also holding fairly well at that 0.382 fib level. It makes perfect sense as to why the price action is performing the way that it is. Okay, so I don't see any surprise here, or the likelihood of the price going up than down is greater right now. But we do want to look at a few other key factors first as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this out. We'll look at that descending trend line here in a minute. Take a quick look here, of course, at the RSI. We're over 50 in the RSI. That's generally a favorable sign. So we haven't broken bearish yet. Okay, same thing here with stochastic, kind of swinging down for the second time. We could see another leg down, but I don't think it's going to be all that monumental. I would say worst case is that 11 to 13 cents. I'm rounding up a little bit, but this little support range here. I call it a support range because 0.5, 0.382 on the way down is a really common characteristical pivot point for the price action to continue higher, especially when you have local highs at that same range. Okay, so again, that's generally favorable. But the truth is, diverging on the MACD, like it's obvious the price is pulling back. Okay, so again, that's the daily time frame. That just gives us perspective on where we're at roughly. Okay, I'm going to tighten up this little trend line here as well, because again, that did touch on a few points here. We can see got close here, 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 and here. The key takeaway here is that this descending trend line is good to recognize because we're establishing lower highs still. Okay, we haven't broken that lower high pattern yet, so that's the important thing to understand. Having said that, though, what does that mean for us? Does that mean that we're truly bearish? No, we're above the 200-day SMA, but we're getting held down below the 50, 100, and the 20. Those are areas in which we can see a lot of resistance. We can also see this point of control at 14 cents even. So I would say maintaining that level here today would be very important. And when we do take a look at our side, we can see we're hanging out right there at about 50. We want a definitive close above that or below it to get any kind of direction where we're at. At this point, being at 50 in the RSI, maintaining the point of control, that's kind of just this equilibrium spot, right, where everything's kind of averaging out. So until we break above soundly or break below that soundly, there's no real definitive direction to tell just yet based on that, that sentiment. However, MACD is trying to converge here, and we look at stochastic, it's swinging up. So momentum, from a momentum perspective, even though volume is low, we can see the price action is trying to recover by establishing higher lows for the moment. Okay, that's a good sign. So ideally, we establish a higher high, we pivot off this level here, and we get in 1550, Bob's your uncle, price goes up. That's generally what we want to see. Is it a guarantee that's going to happen? No, but again, slightly larger statistical probability of that occurring. So let's look at the hourly and kind of just wrap this up here. I always like to look at the Ichimoku cloud and confirm we're above or below. The lagging span is not free and clear of the price action, conversion lines at the baseline, and we're under the cloud. If you have no idea what that means, maybe watch my Ichimoku cloud video. I have an instructional video on how to understand and interpret it, but I can tell you this is probably one of the best confirmational tools you can use in your tool bag. Again, specifically to the hourly time frame, for me, it's worked very well because I prefer swing trading. Okay, either way you look at it, we're under the cloud, letting us know we are essentially below resistance. Okay, so again, even though it's descending trend line, we see a tentative break above. That's not a definitive direction there. Whereas we can see here, being underneath that cloud, It's generally not a favorable sign. So we want to look for a case in point where the price action is above the cloud, for example, closure at about 14.7 or higher, above that most recent local point of control. We do take a look here as well. We can see we are in decent shape for the last 48 hours. The bulls have been able to control the price action. In other words, the price is above this recent point of control, that value high, and I can tell you at this point, that's generally favorable. But the problem with this is we got some weekend in here too, and the low volume provides us with unique volatility and not always the best conditions to trade. So me personally, I would wait until Monday, close of business Monday, if you will. End of the candlestick, the daily candlestick closure. Get a closure at 14.8 or higher to get us above that recent point of control, as well as the upper and lower lead of the cloud. And I think we're going to be in much better shape. So I would not feel comfortable personally taking along until we see 14.8 or higher. That's what I'm looking for. Again, generally, you ask for it. That's the kind of the consensus. That's how I like to look at the charts and interpret them. Again, with limited data here, without a significant amount of macro data, you're kind of limited in a sense there for these smaller swings. Okay, so truth is, haven't broken this descending trend. We're not like in perfect shape yet, but we're averaging ourselves out close to that recent high. There's a solid chance we're going to see the price action consolidate at this level, this 13-cent range, upwards of 15 cents. And once we break above this 0.236 fib level, I'd say a solid 15 cents or higher, then we're going to be in much better shape. So that's kind of where we're at there. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you learned a lot. Make sure you check out Bitunix too, the exchange that we prefer as a community. No KYC or VPN required. Use my link to register before the end of the month, and you get a nice reward bonus. And if you're not already familiar, I have a Twitter, Telegram, YouTube, Discord, TikTok, Shorts, pretty much anything and everything available for you if you're curious and you want to learn more. I hope you did learn something again. Thanks again so much for watching. Look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.